Now, this is kind of a study about walking bass lines. We're using them to create this kind of hip jazz sound in our blues. But these exact same walking bass line concepts we can plug into our standards as well. So if you're playing standards out on a gig, you're playing at home for yourself, you can work the walking bass lines into your arrangements when you want to create that walking bass line kind of a feel. I'll take a standard here, and I'll show you how that's done. I'm going to choose Days of Wine and Roses. I can't show you the music for copyright reasons, but you can look it up. I'm just going to play it in the traditional key of F, and it's in F in all of the fake books. And I'm just going to use the elements we've been talking about, what I call the chromatic line, the hip line, and the chord outline, 1, 3, 5, 3, and going up to the octave and walking down on the scale. You'll see what I'm going to do. First, I'll take it with just chords, and then I'll put some melody to it. So you kind of get the idea and how you can apply this to any of your standards. Just start taking the concepts and go bar by bar and see what bass line you want to use in different parts of the song. So I've got my tune, and I can make an arrangement first starting out just playing it kind of normally. Then if I want to swing, 2, 3, 4. I'm playing on the fly. I do this all the time. I don't calculate what I'm going to play where. But if I wanted to recommend to you how to start out to work with a bass line on a song, you could literally write out the bass line for yourself, or you could make notations on the music about what you're going to use at certain points. And I would play just the chords first and not the melody. Like this song starts out with F major 7, E flat 7, D7. So I could take like a chord outline to start with on the F major 7. Then as I go to the E flat, I could use that chromatic, what I call the hip line. Same thing on the D7. There I did that little kind of bass roll I talked about. And then there's a followed by G minor 7. So a minor 7 chord, we didn't talk about those, but you could just take chord outlines. Just straight chord outline, either 1, 3, 5, 3 or 1, 5, 3, 5. Then to the B flat, going up with the hip line, going to the E flat, continuing with the hip line. I call it the hip line, it's the chromatic thing. So that kind of thing, I would just recommend going through bar by bar and seeing what you wanted to put on there. So now I'll play it with just the chords and slow it down a little bit, and see if you can just watch my left hand, see what I'm doing. I'll try to keep it coherent and try to limit it to what we've been talking about. I'm just playing the first half of the song. So I hope that makes some kind of sense. And then, depending on how well you know your melodies, then you could start to work the melody in with it. Or you could play a chorus of just chords and bass line to kind of get the momentum moving, then you could go back to playing the arrangement however you play it, without a walking line. Another course of action would be to play the bass line and a single note melody line, and that can work pretty good. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. That kind of thing. So it's the same elements, the same concept for building our bass lines, but the chords are moving at a more rapid pace than they are with the blues. And we're using different chord qualities. And when you're using a different chord quality, a good way to think about it is like you got a minor chord, minor 7, you just play chord outline. 1, 3, 5, 3, or 1, 5, 3, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 5, different ways, but you make it a minor instead of a major. Same thing with the minor 7 flat 5, exact same thing, just use a chord outline. And you can jockey up to the octave and play an octave in 7, that sort of thing. When the opportunity comes up, when you've got 4 beats in a measure, you can just walk down in a scale movement, walk up or down the scale movement to fit the chord. So it's the very same thing. You might have to just take your time to go about it more slowly, but same deal. You're just walking along and putting the chords with it. But the melody, of course, now that's a different thing, depending on your skill at what point you're at in your playing, where you can put melody with that walking bass line. If you sing, it's terrific. Then you don't have to worry about melody. Your voice is the melody. If you're playing with a horn player, that sort of thing, then it's a lot easier. Then you're just playing chords and a walking bass line. Let's take a look at another standards where the chords move more slowly. In the song Summer Wind, traditionally in the key of E flat in fake books, so you can get the chords and follow along with what I'm doing. In Summer Wind, we've got these long stretches where we hang on one chord for not only 1 bar, but 2 bars. So that makes things easier when the chords are moving more slowly. When you get a song that has 2 chords to the bar, that means 2 beats for each chord, things have to move more quickly. But when you've got a song that has a lot of 4 beats for every chord, then it's much easier to work on those songs. 1 chord per bar or 2 chords per bar. That's kind of the rule of thumb. It's unusual when it's something else. But here in this song, Summer Wind, key of E flat's kind of the traditional key. It stays on this chord actually for 2 bars. And then it goes to a 2-5 progression, 4 beats for every chord. The F minor 7 back to the B flat 9. Then it repeats that. We got another situation where it's the E flat chord for 8 counts, and then it continues along like that. So I would do the same sort of thing here if I was going to play, sort of rubato, and then if I wanted to kick it up, 1, 2, 3, 4. That sort of thing. Easy going, walking bass line. And again, you would start by taking just chords and don't try to play the melody. Unless if you're good at you're playing your melodies, that's great. But if you start out with just the chords, it's going to be a lot easier. And if you can sing, it's a lot easier. The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. It lingered there to touch your hair and walk with me. All summer long we sang a song and we sailed that golden sand to Sweetheart's End, the summer wind. A lot easier that when you're just playing chords. When you put the melody along with your chords, it's another step. It's quite a level of complexity. We studied that in my Playing from a Fake Book series, how to put melodies with chords. But if you're a singer, you've really got a leg up on things, or playing with somebody that's playing the melody line.